Oh, it's a very big threat because with malware, if it happens, you lose like a whole lot of vital information. And I kid you not, if someone gets access to, let's say, your private stuff that you don't want anyone to see, you're gonna get frustrated. And let's say in this world, we deal with personal information such as date of birth, full name, bank accounts, even hospital records. So it's really a very huge um like something that we have to deal in this world because right now our lives revolves around cybersecurity, even with using a cell phone, a computer, anything electronic or not even electronic. It's just like cybersecurity that helps us to manage our daily life activities. So if malware occurs, like you are doomed. Yes, so we have to take it seriously because it can cause like a very huge harm that we can never like be able to solve. And I'm sure people have been like notified about like identity theft and like so many breaches and companies and contracts, and it's a whole lot that people are still struggling with because they do not have like any measures set in place to tackle these malware. So it's a very serious like opponent of cybersecurity that we have to like be able to address. For now, I would say yes, but who knows? There's gonna be like something else that would come up in the nearest future that would be so powerful to overcome it. So I think it's effective based on what I've heard and the news across the world. For now, it's kind of solving most of the problems we have in malware in regards to cybersecurity, but even though it may not be strong enough to protect us, I'm just hoping there's gonna be like someone, a genius person, to just develop something that's gonna solve our problems. But for now, automation should be good to go with us. Okay, so with scanning for malware, you just have to look at where like the threat is coming from, how they were able to get into your system, and how you're going to prevent future like occurrences, and also um how like you have to check the kind of damage it caused to your product, or let's say your company or institution. Even though like they help with the investigations, I think you have to like do your own thing on the side because investigations does not always help, especially with anti-malware, because there are serious uh, malware and threats around that cannot like be handled with just anti-malware. That's why, let's say, when you are in a company and you work as a cybersecurity analyst or in the field of cybersecurity, there is always like an incident response team that handles like threats and malwares. And you know what, they have like steps that they go through. So even though there's an investigation going on, as an individual, in order to protect yourself, you have to delve into the situation at hand, because even if you tackle the situation now, there's a probability that it's going to occur later. So that is what we have to prevent. Even if it wasn't harmful enough or gets access to vital information, who knows, the next time it attacks, it's going to try harder to access every little information or detail you have just to mess you up. So you just have to have your incident response team and your own like rules set aside that you think would be able to help with the investigation, because you can't just deal with investigation alone. For instance, like let's say when someone dies, you know how the police works. They investigate and they go as far as getting a DNA on the person to match up with other records they have. So it's a huge task when malware occurs, and it's the same thing for everything everywhere. So just do your best, do your investigation, and then work with your institution or company's protocols to make sure this doesn't occur again. No, I don't have because I haven't really started working. But if I have any contribution, I will just be, my preference will be what my company is using or whatever institution I'm working with, whatever they are using. I think that's gonna be my preference. And if I work with it for a while and it doesn't, let's say, meet my expectations, I would draw the attention of my senior supervisor, and then we start digging into other stuff, and then maybe we would find something better. But for now, I don't have any favorites. Every company has its own like strategies or like protocols they go through when a malware occurs. So I would say just go with your company's procedures, because they should be already prepared for it even before you start working. And during orientation or maybe training stage, they would go through with it with you so that you would know if, let's say, it occurs on your duty, you would know how to handle it. So just go with your company's procedures and do your best. And I know in cybersecurity, every company has their own incidents response team as well as procedures or protocol they go through, and you can't deviate from that. So just work with them and everything should be fine. These malwares, they are really tough. I would say they are tough like viruses that you have to fight them and fight very well. So let's say when like a malware occurs, you just have to know the nature of it. That is the first step. So with that, you would identify what malware it is, because there are different types. After your identification, then you move on to the next process. But even within the identification, you should know the aim of the malware. Like, what are they trying to achieve? What are they looking for? Why did they attack me or my institution or my company? Is there something really exceptional about my company? Is there like someone they are trying to target through my company? What kind of information are they looking for? These are the kind of questions you have to ask yourself before you try to even solve the problem or remove whatever malware. Based on that, you should be able to tackle it in such a way that it might not even occur. So if you don't identify what malware it is, where it's coming from, I mean, who sent it? Why is it attacking me? If you don't have solutional answers to these questions, then it's going to be a serious problem, because it makes it even harder for removal. So make sure you can answer all your why questions, your hows, and then what's, and then those what questions. If you get the answers to it, I think the removal procedure shouldn't be that tough, because you already know what your organization has set in place to handle such decisions. So by answering these questions, you have to it gives you some confidence to eliminate stuff and also include stuff in your procedures to help you eliminate it from the system so it doesn't cause more harm to you. No, no, I haven't really had the chance to, but I think with my PhD in cybersecurity, there is a class named Certified Ethical Hacker Analysis, and it's a 12-week program. So I think we're gonna delve into it. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and waiting patiently for it to start it. But for now, I haven't. I wish I was working because it would even broaden my knowledge a little bit. But I'm just fine now because it's just school, and school is like it's a full-time job. So I know it's gonna help me learn more stuff that would help me in my job in cybersecurity. I would say use the maximum protection as you can because you would never be prepared enough. And with these malware attacks, they are really tough, like I said earlier. So just use the maximum protection that you can and make sure you encrypt all your stuff because decrypting takes a lot of time. So even if the malware gets into your system, they would, since everything is encrypted, they would have to decrypt it before they can get whatever information they want to access. So protect your stuff, especially vital information about you and your company, and then you should be good. Um, Not really. I haven't had experience with any malware attacks personally, but I have been reading into like the news, especially the cybersecurity news, because that is my focus now. And sometimes I would say that these companies that the malware attacks, they do not like use the proper protection because um I think about a week or two ago I heard this news about this credit reporting agency that they were attacked, and so many vital information like people's social security, their date of birth, even house addresses were exposed. And what I realized was they didn't even file a report with the FBI. So if you don't file a report, I mean, that means you're not even ready to investigate what the problem is. And in other words, you are not even ready to, let's say, address the whole situation. So the probability of it occurring again is very high to the extent that the next time they attack, it's gonna be like more serious and severe to the extent that you would not even be able to overcome it. So, with all the news going on, I know people try to file reports with the police and the FBI, and they usually get most of the things, if not all, resolved. But the first step is to reporting it, and then you try to attack it or know what its aim was. But if you don't report it and identify what it is, I mean, there's no way you're gonna overcome it. It's gonna strike again, and then you may lose a whole lot of information that you might not even be aware of. So personally, after taking this exams, I have protected myself and all my devices so that it does not get hacked or even get any attacks whatsoever. So protection is key. Just use maximum protection because there are people, and people are very like sensitive, so you don't have to just leak information out there because it's dangerous to expose someone's identity even with them knowing, because when you expose them, um you just leave them out there for trouble to just attack them. So just make sure you protect yourself as much as you can so that there wouldn't be any malwares.